Good afternoon, everyone. Tuesday, June the 2nd. Hope you're keeping well. I got kicked out of the house. My wife said, go out on the deck. You're making all this noise. Your final, number 4, your final Citizens Handbook writing assignment today based on our lesson. You'll notice a YouTube video below this one. I'll ask you to watch, but after this lesson. But it is the subject of our writing. We've been looking at Canadian politics, particularly our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and all the freedoms we enjoy as citizens. We take a lot of it for granted because, I mean, we've always had them, and so, hey, what's the big deal? It's not true everywhere. We're going to take a look at an example from China today, and something new there that they call the social credit system. It's remarkable. And some of you are going to think, if is Fisher just making this up? This sounds like a movie or something on Netflix, sci-fi. No, this is real. China is a dictatorship. Citizens do not have a charter of rights and freedoms. The rights and freedoms belong to the government and the police, not the citizens. And in China, they set up this system. They're still experimenting with it, but it's pretty much everywhere in the country. And each province in China has its own system, but there's going to be a nationwide system soon. And we're going to talk about how it works and the question of, would it work here? Would it be a good idea for it to work here? And that is going to be the subject of your question. Under the social credit system, China has invested in buying hundreds of millions of cameras to be placed in public places for security. So pretty much anywhere you go in China, in a city, in a town, even in a village, as you're walking down the street, if you look around, there are security cameras, and they are watching you all the time. This is quite an experiment. China has 1 billion, almost 400 million people. It's the largest country in the world by population. So for them to be trying this is remarkable. And it seems to be working. Now, this is how it works. Every citizen, and I think they just do this with adults, but we're not sure where that age cutoff is given a score. Now, every score is different. Let's use a simple version, 1 to 100. So everybody has a score of 50 to begin. You are monitored all day long. So when you walk out of your house in the morning on the way to school or work, there are cameras on your street. And the cameras can identify who you are. They have your digital image. They know who you are and where you live. And so they're watching you. And it's a computer algorithm. There isn't actually a person watching you. It's a computer watching you. It follows you all the way to school. If you ride a city bus or a school bus, there's a camera on the bus. It picks you up there. It knows where you are at all times. So you're never alone. And it's watching you, and it's judging you. Every time you do a good deed, you gain points. So you go from 50 to 51 or 52. Every time you do something that's considered improper, you lose points. So say this is real, okay? This is not some sort of video game or movie. This is how it's working in China. So say we're at the school, it's lunchtime, you decide to walk down the street to Tim Hortons, and on the way back you're eating, and there's no garbage cans around. It's like, I don't want you chuck it, right? You've seen people do this. You just throw your Tim Hortons cup, or you put it in somebody's bush. If this was China, there'd be a camera on Foreman Ave, and it would pick you up, and it would see that you were littering, and it would be like, oh, -2. And so your score would drop from 50 to 48. If you show up late to Mr. Fisher's class, even a little bit, even if you have a good reason, that might be -1. The teacher's checking your homework. Who has not done their homework? And then I'd have some sort of system to plug it into -1 or -2. This goes on all day long. Now, maybe you do a good deed. You see that someone has littered, and you pick up their garbage and put it in a garbage can. You might get a +1 or 2 for that. You hold the door open for someone. You're polite or helpful to someone. This doesn't sound real, but it is real in China's social credit system. Say you live in an apartment building, condos. There will be someone in that building hired by the government to spy on everyone. They're not called spies, you know, they're hallway monitors or something like that. And they watch everybody. Are you swearing all the time? -1. Are you polite, helpful? There's a little old lady, you hold the door for her? +1. Now you might think, who cares about a system like this? But there are benefits and rewards. Say your score drops below 30, you're now in the penalty zone. So you go to the store, you buy something, they ring it in, they charge, you know, sales tax, HST's 13%, and you notice on your bill, wait a minute, my HST is 20%, that's not right. And you tell the clerk, you added this up wrong, and the clerk says, oh no, it says here when you used your credit card or debit card, your name comes up and it says, you're a bad citizen. Your score's under 30. You now pay a 20% sales tax instead of 13. They do this in China. Or your score is above, say, 70 or 75. Oh, you only pay 5% sales tax. So there are benefits and there are rewards to this kind of system. They're trying to encourage people with penalties and rewards to be better citizens. Some people might say, that's not such a bad system. Maybe we should do that here. But of course, you have no say in how the system is operated. And if you score low, if you drop below maybe 20, it could be even more extreme. And I've got a video for you to look at that shows you more examples of this. Would this be a good system for Canada? Should we be doing this? Should the government be watching us at all times, rewarding us and punishing us? It would seem to me to be a clear violation of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Things can be changed, though. What do you think? Give that some thought. This is an odd one, a tricky one. I want to know what you think. Should we adopt this system or should we not? I have strong opinions on the issue, but that doesn't matter. I'm looking for a well-argued piece, and you can argue either way, and if it's well-argued, great, level 4. And some of you have been doing that. So that's your Citizens Handbook writing assignment for today. Do watch the video that's attached here. It's from NBC News. I think you're going to like it. It helps to flesh things out. And then really give it some thought. Would this be a good system or a bad system? And one of the reasons I introduced this topic is with the pandemic. You know, at some point, we're going back to work, back to school, and authorities are worried, geez, with all those people out and about, this thing is going to spread. We need to be able to, when somebody is testing positive, we need to be able to contact people who are near them to warn them, maybe you should be isolating. Some people are suggesting that we have some sort of a system like social credit for the pandemic, that there be an app that you download on your phone. And so that if you do test positive, government authorities have that information, and by using your phone records and maybe your debit card, credit card records, they can see who you've been interacting with in recent days and send them a text. It might not have your name, but it might just say you had close contact on Monday with someone who has tested positive, please self-isolate. The technology is incredible in the things that can be done. But for our purposes for now, should we have a social credit system in Canada? Take care.